Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
Hi, it seems kind of silly, and I'll try to keep this short, but I'm a pretty long-winded talker.
Boy, I know that. I am too.
My ex and I, I'm 28. We got married when I was 24. You know, we did all the right things. We got married. We bought a house. We got the toys to go along with it. We had a daughter, and he really struggles with alcoholism, and because of her safety, I ultimately decided to leave. He does not pay child support. In our divorce, I said, $200 a month, I'll take care of it. At that point, I had been doing it by myself for so long that I was like, it really doesn't matter. My main thought at that time was I try to give him, I think, more grace than he probably should. I wanted him to be able to get back on his feet. He was living with his mom, and, the truck that we had bought was $30,000. We got a loan, put 5 down. He owed 25, or we owed 25. And I just got a statement from them, and this has been a couple of years now, that there is still $25,000 left. And so what happens is he doesn't make any payments. They threaten to take it. He makes a big payment, to give him off his back.
Right.
And I talked to the lender and said, what can I do? And they're basically saying nothing unless he refinances, which he has no interest in doing. So between the truck getting behind and then, he doesn't pay child support. I think he's paid it once. Last December, he paid me the $200.
Who told him it was optional?
We don't have it enforced. I haven't gone through the child support division. We just put it on paper in our divorce, but I can make the call today to do it. The courts actually said his child support would be about $800, but again,
yeah, I was going to say it sounds low.
Keep the truck payment current, and we'll kind of go from there.
Because the truck is in your name as well?
Yeah. And so I'm just kind of wondering, if there's anything I can do to kind of get off that, and if I should call and get the child support just taken out. My fear is whenever I've brought this up to him, he kind of withdraws and stops taking our daughter. And I know it's not my responsibility to keep their relationship good, but I do feel, an obligation because she's so young to at least buy some time for her to make the choice on how their relationship progresses. She's 2.
Yeah.
So
is he stable? Is he stable now, at least from an employment and living on his own, or is he still with Mama?
No, he's still with Mom, and he's actually never taken me off of the joint account we had. So I don't use it, but I can see it. I imagine there's some cash coming through that I don't see because I've never seen a payment to his mom. I've never seen any sort of large withdrawal from the account. I mean, it's literally all, it's alcohol. It's $30 at gas stations here and there, the occasional gas stop.
Does he have a job?
$100 at Walmart. Yeah, he has a job. And from what I can see, he gets about $800 a week through that job.
What is his job?
But he doesn't help. I think he's working construction now, doing concrete. And he doesn't do daycare. He sees her on Monday and Wednesdays for a couple hours, and then he gets her for an overnight on Friday.
And if he were to be paying you, if he were sorry to interrupt, but if he were to pay you $200 a month, would it make that much difference to you?
Well, that's why I'm kind of torn, because I'm working through the baby steps on my own to just try to get ahead. I've got 2 credit cards my debt's less than $5,000. My car I paid off when we sold our house. I'm doing okay, and that's I'm kind of is it even worth ruffling the feathers? But at the same time, I'm it's been, a year and a half, and you haven't done anything, and you're flaking on taking her all the time. So if you're not going to at least see
Michaela,
her,
you're the sweetest person I've ever talked to. You have spent your whole life trying to avoid feathers getting ruffled.
You're very kind.
At some point, you can't let people walk all over you like this.
What's that?
Yeah,
say that part again.
He's a good friend to his friends. He's a good, but he's just not a good partner, and he's not been a great dad up until.
You can be a great drinking buddy and be a terrible husband.
Yes.
Well, I would say this.
Yeah, and that's kind of.
If you were my sister, and that's how I'm going to react to this. If you were my sister, I would be saying, I would be putting up strong boundary, because my concern is the alcoholism and the time. Like, my number one concern is not the $200. I'll get to that in a second. My number one concern, if you were my sister, would be, that's my niece. That's your daughter. And I don't like her with an alcoholic father. I don't care how nice and sweet he is and how many stuffed animals he buys. There needs to be a boundary there. And he needs to hit rock bottom. And as long as he's staying with mom and he gets to see your daughter, he's not hitting rock bottom. So I would be dealing with that. Right. If it were just the $200, I would say forget it, because it's not worth the fight. And I'm not sure it is. And I'm still on that note of, it's $2,400 a year. Sure, it'd be great for you to get it. To George's point, he owes it. But George, I'm more concerned about the alcoholism, the custody, and I might use the $200. I might go to the court and go, I need some help with this. And you let him know. Give him some fair warning. Hey, listen.
I'm very transparent with him. I sent him a long message last week. I said, here's kind of where I'm at. Like, I need you to think about this, because we can't continue what we're doing.
Did he respond?
I do have solace. He just kind of says, okay, I'll see what I can do, but I know nothing will come. I have comfort because he's living with his mom, and I know her mom, and we have an okay relationship. But my daughter's at least safe while she's there, because they're there.
Okay.
So I'm like, part of me is like, don't move out of your mom's
Well, then
house,
I wouldn't mess around.
Fearful.
I mean, George, what do you think?
I just feel like, did you go through the courts for this? Was there a decree?
Yeah, so everything is actually finalized this month on the 18th.
So why did the judge not finalize and say, hey, he's got to refinance, sell, or pay this car off and force it as part of the deal?
So they did. So on paper, it does say that he's responsible for that. Because, I gave him
He's responsible for what?
The house in half for the truck loan, but the lender is saying, well, you signed the loan, so you're not off the hook.
Well, they need to force, the decree would then force a refinance in order to get your name off of it. And so you need to go, it's not going to be fun. You got to go back to the courts and say, here's everything on paper, which, by the way, is now the law of what he has to do.
And he's not doing it.
And as long as you keep letting him not do it, he's going to keep not doing it. And so I would not have as much grace as you. I'm going to fight this on behalf of my own family and my own financial future.
If I were ever governor of a state, one of the first things I'd do is a deadbeat dad policy, and I'd put them to hard work, hard labor until they shaped up.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.